I've just stepped off that bus and it's still quite dark out. The bus dropped me off right in front of this marina, and just down the street is an old train station, so you'd expect commuters or workers, but there's absolutely nothing. Looking out at the water, the basin is like a perfect glassy mirror. It's actually a really scenic, mid-sized harbor. There are all these sleek, modern yachts sitting moored directly alongside smaller, traditional wooden fishing vessels. There's an eerie silence to it all. Usually places like this are buzzing with crews, tourists, or fishermen prepping for the day. As far as I can tell, it's just me, some seagulls, and a few pigeons reclaiming the docks. Seems like everyone just left their boats behind and vanished. Honestly, I'm here with absolutely no plan at all. I don't have any specific attractions in mind, if there even are any attractions here. I suppose the whole city is the attraction, but it feels very small and contained, almost like a movie set after production wraps. Crossing over the main street from the waterfront, I'm stepping directly into this garden. It looks like a beautifully landscaped urban oasis. Framed by rows of mature palm trees, some orange trees, and these huge centennial trees that I imagine offer some heavy, cooling shade during what must be blazing hot summer months around here. This park is completely surrounded by these grand, formal administrative buildings, but there are no guards, no clerks, and no long lines. We are somewhere down on the southern edge of the continent, right where the mainland meets the ocean. The plan for now is just to wander aimlessly inland toward the north, and then eventually loop back to see if the coastline offers any signs of life. Moving away from the garden leads into an absolute maze of pedestrian paths. The architecture is incredibly clever. The structures are built so close together specifically to block out the direct glare of the intense southern sun. Most of these buildings seem to date anywhere from the late 18th to the early 20th centuries. The bright white plaster is standard, but those vibrant yellow, blue, and red borders around the windows and doors are fascinating. Historically, the local belief was that these specific colored trims would ward off evil spirits and keep insects from entering the homes. It seems the charms worked a little too well, since they managed to keep every single human being away, too. A lot of these buildings also feature stunning, hand-painted ceramic tiles on their exterior walls, giving the entire street an incredibly authentic, texturized feel. Even the craftsmanship underfoot tells a story. Every single one of these tiny stones had to be shaped and laid by hand to form this massive mosaic. It represents a staggering amount of human effort and time, all left behind for absolutely nobody to walk on. It is entirely empty out here. That bell echoing through the empty space is incredibly startling when there hasn't been a single ambient city sound for hours. Following the sound, the narrow street finally opens up, and I've arrived at this quiet neighborhood square. Right in the center stands a grand church. Just looking at the facade, it displays a really complex architectural blend. Looks like a mix of Mannerist, late Baroque, and Rococo styles, all mashed together. But there is absolutely no one entering or leaving. It feels like a good time to pivot back toward the waterfront and see what the coastline looks like. The roaring sound of planes overhead is completely jarring. They sound incredibly low, so I can only assume there must be an airport somewhere nearby, which makes this whole ghost town vibe even stranger. Back at the marina, the atmosphere hasn't changed at all. Just rows of empty hulls. Now I'm back exactly to where I started my morning, right by the marina. Still, there are only boats. The water is still quiet. Not a single soul is out here. This park is completely surrounded by these grand, formal administrative buildings, but there are no guards and no long lines. But just over there, that massive stone gate up ahead looks like a primary historical entrance. It looks like a primary historical entrance that leads directly into what appears to be an old town. Stepping through the massive archway, I'm met with an entirely new network of even more narrow, winding streets. Another absolute architectural masterpiece. That building represents a completely different era than what I've seen so far. It is this spectacular, revivalist, and eclectic bourgeois architecture that looks like it's straight out of the early 20th century. It has a castle-like rounded corner tower, elaborate stone carvings framing all the windows, and these grand balconies. It looks like a wealthy merchant's dream palace, completely frozen in time. Right next to it, another impressive building. It looks very official because there is a Brazilian flag. I'm guessing it might be a consulate or some sort of diplomatic office, but like everything else today, the windows are dark and the doors are shut. Leaving the brick and stone of the city behind, the urban landscape opens up entirely as I finally make my way toward the coastline. The open air feels incredible after navigating those enclosed streets. Wait, is that a train? Yes, it actually is.
Wait! Hold on! Wait for me!
It's a moving train slicing right through the landscape. I have to wonder, is there actually anyone on it? Or is it just some automated ghost train running on an endless, forgotten loop? I am now walking on a trail that seems to cut right through a protected natural park. Not a single soul is out here. As I get closer to the very edge of the mainland coastline, I am looking directly out at this absolutely breathtaking landscape. It looks like a wild labyrinth of blue tidal lagoons and sprawling marshlands. Scattered throughout the water, I can see traditional local fishing vessels moored, completely still. There are no fishermen, no tourists, just this vast, quiet wilderness reclaiming the border between the land and the sea. This tiny train stop is incredibly unsettling now that darkness has completely fallen. The atmosphere is incredibly eerie. Still, absolutely no one is around, and there is no train in sight. I've been waiting for a train that simply never arrived. Back near the marina, the night makes everything worse. The empty boats are just knocking rhythmically against the docks in the pitch black. I've managed to get inside here where I will be staying the night. I am ending the video here. Not a single person appeared in this entire city today, but honestly, I am completely alright with that. At least I can finally get a quiet, peaceful night of sleep without any distractions. I'm in bed now. Thank you so much for coming along on this journey, and see you in the next video. What in the world? What? Are you kidding me? Now you all decide to show up. Where were you the whole day?
Yo voy a cantar esta canción, yo voy a cantar esta canción para mi gente, con una pasión